Hola, welcome to Sunday Night Power Plan. Okay, so right before we hit record, Sonia said she is struggling with the MMM sheet, and I'm going to tell you what I told Lisa earlier last week. I have a feeling you're probably doing a lot more than you realize. You just don't know where to check it off, or you're just not, you don't need to check it off. So please remember, this sheet is to help you. So if you are on your lunch break and you send out 4 or 5 messages and you don't check them off your list, that's okay. You did your messages. If you go back through your messenger and look, you'll probably actually see messages that you could have checked off, but you maybe didn't. It's like, because like Lisa had actually been sending a few messages, but she didn't really know where they fell on she was just naturally in Messenger doing these conversations with people, but she didn't know, was that a sample message or was it a follow-up or where would it go? And so that was kind of overwhelming to her, that she felt like she wasn't getting a lot done. But in reality, when we went through her messenger, she did have several messages. And I mean, I'm in your chat, Sonia, your group chats, you're always in there. So I bet you actually have done a lot more than you think you have. So just remember, it's to help you. No one is going to stand over top of you and be like, oh, I think there's an empty block on, Tuesday for this particular order. It is just to help you. And there's a couple people that have said they actually have gone back to using bingo cards because they felt more productive with that. So do what works for you. All honesty, the reason that I switched to MMM is because I did not want to continue to do bingo cards every single month. It was a lot of work. It was a lot to keep track of. And this way we have a week in front of us versus the other. The other tip I will tell you that I actually feel like last week I did without realizing it. When I was like in my zone where I was copying and pasting, like introducing myself to people in my group or my new followers, I just went for it. I think I did like 14, 15, something like that on that day. And then I just crossed all those off because I was done. And then the next day I like did a bunch of follow-up messages. And then the next day I did a bunch of sample messages. So if you don't want to do it a little bit each day, you could pick a category. So like how at the top it's going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could literally go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if you want, and just do, you know what I mean? The thing I have struggled with, partly because I just think I was a little burnt out, but I have to make sure I'm still doing all of my social media, like not having the bingo card in front of me. But I will say the thing that has been most helpful is this, where underneath where it says social media, where it says product, sample, or opportunity. I am doing so much better at making sure I have that in my story every single day. And then to me, the personal brand stuff kind of comes easier because that's when I can just talk about whatever's going on in my life, like the gardening or whatever. But making sure that I'm selling the product or a sample or selling the opportunity in my story has been that's been helpful for me. Instead of, like the bingo card would be like, hop in your stories and talk about the benefits of being a promoter. Now I'm just like, oh, I need to talk about the opportunity. Do I have a Canva graphic that talks about it? Is there an old story that I did that talks about it? And I'm just like regurgitating stuff. So in a way it's made that part easier. So yeah, so don't feel, we're all getting used to it clearly, because I'm still getting used to it too. And I came up with it. So with that in mind, let's talk about this upcoming week. Today is the 18th. I will tell you, I'm kind of staying away from the sample chats. Well, talk to us why. Go ahead and tell us. It's just us.
I just really haven't, I've not had people that are interested in samples, so I'm not reaching out directly saying, do you want to sample?
Yeah.
I did a few, one never looked at it, and the other one's like, I'm not interested, which is fine.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But
I think when it comes to asking people if they want to try a sample, you just have to disconnect from the outcome. Like that is one where you definitely just have to say, okay, I'm going to ask 2 people today if they want to sample, and then move on with your life. And if they say yes, great. If they don't say anything or they say no, you next. Like that's one of those where you just have to like churn out the activity and let the pieces fall. I will say I admittedly had not been directly I'd been in my stories a lot talking about samples, getting samples together, who would like a sample, and I wasn't getting anything from that. No one was clicking my button, no one was asking for a sample. But then when I started being more direct and being like, hey, this is what would you like this? I had a couple of people say, no, thank you, I'm not interested right now, or no, thank you, it's not for me, or whatever. And then other people said yes. So I know that I was really hoping to just be able to just be so fabulous that people would like watch my stories and click my buttons, but that wasn't happening for me. So I was actually getting much better response directly asking people. But I will tell you, so like I have 4 samples out right now, but that's from asking 2 to 3 people a day for the last 3 weeks. But that's 4 people that are sampling that I would not have had sample. So I just, when somebody writes back and says it's not for them, I'm like, okay, no problem. If you ever decide that it is, I'm here. And I just move on with my life. And the people that don't respond at all, that's okay. I found new people. I did that teacher, like, hey, it's like the person that's a teacher offering them a sample. But then I don't, I mean, I know teachers, but I also know a lot more moms. So as the back to school photos were going up, I was like, hey, I'll find this message and pop it in here. But I was basically like, hey, I was just thinking I've been sending all these 3-day samples of Thrive to teachers for back to school, but you're just as busy. You need it too, kind of a thing. And then some like the moms. And the beauty of that is it can be a preschooler, it could be a college kid, it doesn't matter. Like that's anybody who has a kid going back to school. So that to me opened up a whole lot more. Like for Lindsay, it was easy to reach to teachers because her mom was a teacher, her dad was a teacher, now her kid is a teacher. And so she like knows lots of teachers. And I know teachers, but like, I don't know, I know a lot more parents, I guess, quite frankly. So I think the idea is that for right now, back to school is an easy thing to kind of latch onto. But like, let me try to think like in your case with your people that ride their motorcycles. I mean, you could just even say, hey, I've been sending out free. I do mine free. I think most of you guys do, but I do mine free. I've been sending out free 3-day trial packs to some of my friends from church. And I realized that, my biker friends might want some of this too. It helps with energy and joint inflammation. Would you be interested in a 3-day pack? Like kind of let them know, like you're sending them to other people, whether you are or not, right? And then maybe they went in on that. And then talk about why it would be, just I don't know, just kind of mixing that up a little bit. Well, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. So I know. Today's the 18th. Tomorrow is the 19th, which means we only have today and tomorrow to talk to auto shippers for the 20th. So I just want to go over this report one more time in case you guys haven't really had time to play with it yet. But in your cloud, you're going to go, hang on, I got to get logged back in. Sorry. You're going to go to the menu and then click reports. And if you go down, it's just it's under report, it says sponsors report and then auto ship. When you click auto ship, we've always had this report, right? It's always giving you an estimated amount of auto ships. But now next to the date, if you click the word details, it actually pops up and tells you who, how much, their customer ID, when it was last auto shipped, that kind of thing. If it is your direct customer, they will show up at the top of the line, right? So that tells you right away who you need to talk to or who you may or may not have an auto ship coming up. If you have some people in your downline or people in your downline that have disappeared, like promoters that have disappeared, it doesn't matter. If they have someone on auto ship, all those people, they're all going to show up for you. So as well as when you scroll down, if you have promoters who have auto ships, for example, I see Yola has an auto ship coming out on the 20th. So this is just a way that you could reach out. Like if you have orphaned, I call them orphans. If you have an orphaned customer or an orphaned promoter, you could reach out and be like, hey, just want to remind you, you have an auto ship coming up. If they're not your direct customer, you can still click their customer ID and it'll take you to their information, but it's not going to show you what's in their cart and all that jazz, like if it's your own personal customer. But it's still a good way to just kind of keep an eye on people. If you're seeing somebody's name pop up and you think, who is that? Like I would click their ID number and find out like who they belong to. So there's this guy, Roy, he belongs under this girl, Lori. I don't even know who Lori belongs to. She's under Lacey. Okay, so she's covered. So that's the kind of thing you can just, keep an eye on people and make sure that they're aware of their auto ships. Or like in the case of maybe a new product or something, hey, your auto ship's coming out in a couple of days. I want to make sure you knew about this particular product or this new flavor or whatever. So the auto ship report to me is now very helpful. Before that report, I used to think was worthless. But when they added that details button, things got good. So definitely make sure you go through that to see if you have any auto ships coming up. The other way to do that is the way we always used to do it. You would just go to my team, go to my customers at the top. You can sort it by next auto ship, click that twice. It populates it for you by date, and then you can look for an 820, 825, your upcoming auto ships. Now the reason that we look for those is not just to be like, hey, you got an auto ship coming out. It's to kind of peek on them, bring back up an old message. What did you guys talk about the last time? And because I don't know about you guys, but my memory, I could talk to somebody tonight about the fact that they want to switch to chocolate and they could switch to chocolate. And this time next month, I'm going to forget that we switched to, I'm just going to forget. So I have to go back into my chats a lot and be like, what did we talk about? What was going on in their life? The other nice thing is with so much going on this time of year, maybe you have somebody that does have a kid going back to school or something like that, or they're going back to work. Which by the way, just real quick, we always think of teachers and kids. Don't forget about the janitors, the bus staff, the administrative, the cafeteria people. There's so many people that have had some time off this summer that are like all a part of that. So anyway, just to trigger your memory. So I don't know. I'm all over the place tonight. So anyway, auto ships. Make sure you're talking to your auto ship people is what I'm getting at. I am going to look really quick on my computer to try to find that message that I was telling you about that I had sent to the moms. Let me see. But oh, not that girl. Okay. Where's that? We're loading. Oh my heavens, we are loading, and other people are messaging me why we're okay. So she had put last week her kids were going to back to school. So here's the message that here's the message that I sent her. If you guys want to copy, and remember, this was just the message I came up with. You can change the wording. And again, maybe this isn't somebody who, and don't use my link, use your link. But I've been sending free 3-day packs of Thrive to teachers to help kick off the school year. But seeing your post, I should be offering them to back to school mamas. Could be, but seeing your post, I should be offering them to you as a bus driver. But seeing your post, I should be offering this to you because I know you're in the cafeteria. Like whatever, like, or whoever, however you want to word it. But that's what I did. And then I made sure to put my link. And when you got to put the whole thing, the HTTPS, you got to do all that crap. But that takes them directly to there. And you guys, it made it so easy. They either came back right away and said, well, which one do I want, regular or elite? Or they would come back and be like, actually one girl was like, oh, that sounds great. And I was like, well, she had already filled it out. So I was like, oh, you've already done it. Okay, wow. And I think I shared this with you guys last week, but here's some of the important stuff that I feel like we are kind of forgetting. Also, do you guys remember back in the day when we would do samples from corporate, how your person had to go to their email and confirm it? I don't think they're doing that anymore. But I'm still sending this. I just processed it this morning. You may get an email from Lavelle to verify your request, so keep an eye out. I'll keep you posted when it ships. And then
I think my last sampler just had to do that.
Oh, did she? Well, maybe they're just doing it then and they're just not telling me. But no one has said, like, I've sent that message to all of them and no one has said, oh yeah, I did it or I got. So I was like, well, maybe it's just happening. The other thing that I have sent over is, hey, also I shot over an invite to the FB group called Vibin' and Thriving. That's our customer group. You use your customer group for anyone watching this that's not part of that group. It can be a good resource for recipes, mindset, movement, but also for product info while you're using your trial. So again, just a way to like, we've processed it. It's still not there yet, obviously. So now we're adding you to Vibin' and Thrive. So I'm slowly leaking that in. And then my next message, which all of these girls are going to get tonight, and I don't have it, so I'm just going to throw this off the top of my head. Hey, I want to introduce you to my friend Lindsay. She's my mentor, my product guru, my Thrive girl who I rely on. And I want you to have access to her while you're going through your Thrive sample. Lindsay, this is blah, blah, blah. She just got her samples cut. Her sample just came, or her sample's coming this week, that kind of thing. So I'm just letting this person know that Lindsay is the person I turn to for all my questions and all my right. Like I'm really building Lindsay up and then saying, I just want you to have access to her. Like you don't have to talk to her, but you have access to her if you have questions during this process. So that to me, that's how I like to introduce people into a three-way chat. Well, for a sample, I should say. But so anyway, I'm sharing lots of messages. So if you guys have messages, I would love to see your messages also, like what you're sending to people. Did anyone, oh, you know what? I thought I've got too many tabs open in my brain as well as on the screen, actually. I want to give you guys one of these Canva things. I can't remember. I think I shared this on like a Wake Up and Win, maybe. You know what? I'm going to share my screen. Oh, wow. Sharing the screen. Okay. Can you guys see? Yeah. Okay. You're with me now. So this is one that it's a copy of a copy somebody sent me. I will put the copy for it in there. All I did was put my face in the background of the photo. See, like, oops, like I can, anyway, my background, my face is back there, but this is just a quick way of sharing about the opportunity in your story. And like, you can use the open space down here or up here or wherever you find open space that you want to put a link. And like, when you do the link, I would say to have it send, there's like on our, what's it called on our Lavelle.com. Hang on. It's new now. Not new, but you know, like the website looks different now. Okay, I go to where it says rewards and then promoter rewards, and that's the link that I send them because that is the one that talks about becoming a promoter, free training and resources, auto bonus, that kind of thing. So that's what I have it clicked to from here. Now, let's say you get this template and you're like, oh, when I put my picture in, my eyeballs are up here under the words or over here. All you got to do is, you know, move stuff around, get it to where it's not covering your face, that kind of thing. You can play around with it. But this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying having the check mark, you know, have I talked about the opportunity this week? And I'm trying to do it in a post, in a reel, and then in 2 stories. So like, I think I did a reel last week. It was kind of tongue in cheek, but it was like, you know, your friends make fun of you for making an online business, but you're playing with flowers and they're stuck at a job they hate, kind of a thing. So I'm trying to spread the wealth that way. But this to me, these kind of quick graphics that you could already have on hand, let me stop sharing, are so convenient in my mind. Okay, so there's the link for that. Remember, when you click that link, you're going to make a copy. I'm not going to, you can't request to edit because I'm not going to allow you to edit. You're going to just have to make a copy. And I think, I don't know for sure, but I'll put that in that, whatever that chat's called, story ideas, story, whatever for Lindsay's group. So I'll put that in there. But I think that's a great way. And then I would, so this week I'm going to work on a graphic of some sort, or maybe find someone's and steal it, of a sample. And then like where it says in your social media, you're going to talk about a product or a sample. You know, I might go, one of my big plus line products that I like to talk about is Move. So I might go ahead and make myself a Move slide for my my stories. Some of those won't allow us to make copies if they're done with premium. It should let you make a copy.
Says view only.
Yeah, because you have to make a copy of it.
Right.
Are you on your desktop or your
My desktop.
okay, hang on, let me go back to my Canva real quick because I forget what it looks like from there.
Let's.
Oh Lordy. I'm not sure what's happening here.
It allowed me to make a copy, but I have the premium.
Yeah. Let me go back to like my home page with Canva. Come on, Canva. Okay, like this one right here, this is actually a copy of a copy that someone sent me. At my upper right hand corner, if you click those 3 dots, you can go down to where it says make a copy.
What I'm getting is just like a large view of what you just sent us, the link. And there is no 3 dots in the upper right hand. There's other people's initials in the upper right hand corner. and the option to share.
To share.
Yeah, there's no place to copy it.
Okay.
It
Hang on.
says try pro for 30 days. So I don't think if you don't have the pro or the premium, whatever they call it, we can't make a copy of them.
Well, that's what I always thought too, but I got too
Like
many.
I couldn't get a copy last week of the boards, the vision boards that they were sharing. I tried and tried. I couldn't get a copy of it.
Okay, well, let me do some research because I originally had thought that too, but Samantha is the one that told me that no, as long as you're just making a copy, you can get stuff even if it's made in pro. But let me play around with that and see what I can find out. And I need to
Oh,
stop.
wait a minute. I found it. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I found it. It's under file. Under
Okay,
the word file
okay,
and make a copy.
yay,
So, okay, I found
Okay.
it. Just wouldn't
hot
let me
dog.
in that
Well, good,
spot.
so go back to those vision boards that you couldn't get a hold of and see if you can maybe mess with those now.
Yeah, I think I pulled those off of I was doing those direct from the Zoom, so I can't access those now.
Lindsay was that the one that Lindsay was on? Yeah, I bet I bet she can get them for us. Okay, all right, let's get the good. That was good. We solved the problem there. The other thing I want to make sure you guys are doing is inviting people to the Opportunity Zoom. There are scripts, ideas, whatever you want to call them, in the guide section. Actually let's do this together. Why can't I hit the red buttons? Sharing of the screen again. I'm going to go to Facebook. Lord have the mercies. Lord have the mercies. Okay. I need all this to go away. Everything works really slow when you're on Zoom. Okay. So when you go to the guides section, do you see here underneath everyone's little faces, it says guides. So it's loading the guides. There's a bunch of guides. If you haven't played around in guides in a long time, it's the place to go. If you need a daily activity sheet, which you don't, but if you need to think about your fives list, if you've got scripts to invite people to your customer group. So I gave you one a minute ago, but here's other ones you can use. But here's the one. This is inviting people to the Opportunity Zoom. So if you click on that guide, it's going to open up for you. Scroll down. It always just acts so goofy when you're on Zoom for some reason. Do you see how it like threw me all the way back up there? Okay. How to invite people to the Zoom. Your next step is to be part of the Zoom. Blah. Oh my gosh, it's just jumping around. I didn't do that at all. That's just doing it on its own. Let's go back down to where we were. Holy Toledo. Okay. So here we go. Here is a send to a happy customer. So if you've already got a Thriver, I know you've been loving your Thrive so far. Have you ever thought about the business side of Lavelle? So many make an income simply sharing what they love. I can send you an invite to the Opportunity Zoom called Wi-Fi Wealth so you can see it if you would like, if it would be a good fit for you. Can I send you an invite? Easy peasy, right? You can just send that. You're not even sending the invite yet. You're asking. And if they say no, great, no worries. I love that you love your product. What if somebody's actually mentioned to you before? I might want to promote. I'm not really sure what's blah, blah, blah. We actually have a Zoom dedicated to giving you more info about promoting with Lavelle. It's called Wi-Fi Wealth, and I know you'll get some great info there. Can I shoot you an invite to watch? Because I know a lot of times people say, so-and-so was talking about promoting. What do I say? Great, there's a Zoom every Saturday at 10:30. They can answer all your questions. Oh, I can't be on Saturday. That's okay. I'll tag you in it. They stream it live on Facebook. Right? So you don't even have to answer all the questions. You can just pop them on there. So these are two, and this is where they live. They live in the guides. So I am guilty of forgetting how good our guides are. But I wanted to make sure you guys saw that. The other thing that to keep an eye on is the personal development. We don't want people to lack in that. Like there's always been that saying that this is like a paycheck with personal development. The better you become as a human in this business, the better you'll do in business. So obviously there's the there's like the devotional aspect of it. There's also the aspect of identifying what you're not great at and trying to get better at it. So if you're like, man, I'm just not very good about asking for the sale, get a book on it, get an Audible on it, watch a YouTube about it, hop on the internet for 15 minutes one day on your lunch break. There's so much information at your fingertips, but it's just a matter of making yourself do it. Not all personal development has to be motivation and mindset. That is something I do think people kind of get tripped up with. It doesn't have to be you're going to develop yourself as a person. If you are in a slump and you're feeling bad about yourself, then yeah, maybe some self-confidence and motivation is what you need. But if you start to identify like, I'm a good person, there's not, I'm doing good, but I'm really struggling to talk to people about the product, or I'm really struggling to present the opportunity to people. How can I get better at that? Right? There's other development that you can do on a personal level. Could be public speaking, just could be learning how to present the opportunity to somebody, which also sometimes just means practice. I know a lot of you guys watch us on Saturdays, but how many of you have ever practiced talking about the opportunity? Right? Like that's personal development. If you want to get better, you got to work at it. It's just like weight loss. You can't think, I mean, you can think about it all you want, but it depends on what you're doing while you're thinking. I have in my life literally put a chocolate chip cookie in my mouth and thought, man, I need to lose some weight. That did not pan out, right? That didn't work that way for me. But if there's something that you're like, I don't know, I'm struggling with this, get better at it. I struggled with reels. So what did I do? 3 a day for a year. I got better at it. Right. And that's the only way you can do it. So don't forget, your personal development should actually develop you as a human, as a salesperson, as a human, as whatever it is that you're looking to get better at. So, and then obviously the team trainings, the faces on here do not need this conversation because you're always on team trainings. I mean, appreciate it. But again, so does anybody have any scripts that they've used this week? Any message that they sent that went well? Did anybody have a pickle? Like, did something go down like in a group chat and you're like, whoop, glad we handled it this way, or hope we can handle it this way?
No, I mean, like I talked about earlier in the week, some of mine are just, it's not necessarily the script and so forth, but I'm so glad you brought up the guides because I tend to forget that those are there instead of trying, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. None of us need to reinvent the wheel, but definitely spend some time just perusing the guides and focusing on that.
Yeah, the guides are amazing. And it's funny that
And y'all worked hard on them.
Yeah, I forget that they're there sometimes too. And then when I get in them, I'm like, oh my God, we spent hours on these and they're really good. So don't forget that they're there.
I am writing on my paper, use the guides, and I'm going to
the guides are very
highlight it.
handy. And then right now, I think it's like guide number 12 or whatever. That's the MMM script. However, that's just, we may end up deleting that because we actually put it in boards. And boards is the only way we can keep it like live and keep adding to it. So to have the free version of boards, you can only have 3 active boards, but one board can have a gazillion things on it. So if you currently have a couple of boards that you're using that you like, copy one and put it on, like, consolidate them, I guess is what I'm getting at, so that you can make sure you have room for that MMM, because that's like like, I don't want to call it the master, but we're just dumping scripts in there. We're just dumping.
Okay, then how do we get access to that? Because like I have the boards that Samantha gave us in Lindsay's house,
Yeah.
I have the boards that I've created and so forth, but like I'm not seeing any of that.
It's in Thriving Sisters. I posted it last week.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, last week was
Thriving Sisters. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what day I did it, but all you got to do is click it.
Okay, Sandra, I just had to activate because it said Thriving Sisters scripts, and there was a button over here that said activate.
Right, but that's the Thriving. That's the old one. You want the one that says MMM. You have to go into Thriving Sisters on Facebook, and then you'll add it. So that's the thing. So if you already have 3 active boards, you'll need to deactivate a board.
Okay.
So that you can make sure you have room for the MMM. And then that's the beauty of the MMM. Like, we can keep adding to it. So anytime somebody's like, oh, I've got a great message, or oh, I've got this, I can add to that board.
Well, they want me to secure my account.
Oh.
So they can send me a code.
Oh, so, yeah, I think I had to do that too.
So what I had to do with my boards is I didn't have to, but I needed to see more, and consolidating them was proving to be a little tech gift difficulty for yours truly. So I'm paying for some boards,
Well,
but
and that's, I mean, that's the other option. You can pay for it. It is a business expense. It is a write-off. So if you want to pay for something like that, if you're using them enough, then I
And-
say absolutely.
and I've
I
gotten
tend to use
so
my clipboard
much.
on my phone a lot. Like that's kind of what I was saying to, like, I will get in my head, like, okay, I'm going to send out new follower messages today. And that's the one I kind of craft. Like I'll look for it in the MMM, or I'll look for like an old message that maybe I sent. I kind of craft it and then I just clipboard it and keep using it. But yeah, like if you're finding yourself constantly repeating something, like anything that you feel like you're constantly repeating, I would definitely say that's worth having in a board. Like I've been using Jennifer Zant's like story captions, because there for a while I just couldn't think. I don't know. I just went through this period of life where I was like, I don't know what to say about my capsules in the morning. I feel like I've said everything there is to say. So I activated that board and I was like, oh, good. Look, new things for me to talk about.
Of course, it's having me install a new boards app, so.
Yeah, it's going to make you update everything. So I would love to see this week from you girls, that Canva graphic that I sent in there. I would love to see your version of it pop up in your story at some point. Because remember, once you make it, you've made it. You can share it literally. If you want to share that every Wednesday for the next 6 months, share it. You can share the exact same thing every day, every Wednesday for the next 6 months, because it's the repetition that somebody's going to pick up on, right? If you only show it once, they might see it, they might not. They might be scrolling, they might scroll past it. It may not even be in the mood for it that day, right? Like that's how I am when I'm on my phone. Some days I'm in the mood for stuff and some days I'm not. But if you keep repeating it, it's just like that McDonald's commercial that just keeps popping up and just keeps popping up. And before you know it, you need yourself a crispy Coke, right? Like whatever they call it. So it's that repetition, but it's spending the 15 minutes, to make a copy, put your picture on it, move words around if need be, but then download it. And then you have it on your phone and you can use it anytime. Any day that you're like, man, I am stressed. I am busy at work. I don't have time to do this job today. Oh, when I pee, I'm going to run in the bathroom. I'm going to upload that graphic that I have. And then good for me. I can check that off my list for the day, right? That kind of, that's the kind of thing that for me, that's what they come in handy for. So.
Okay, and I was messing with it. So where do I'm in Thriving Sisters Tribe. How do I get that to boards?
The link is in there. So if you,
Okay, it's just a
if
link.
you find the post,
Sorry.
it's okay. No, if you find the post, you should just be able to click on that link. And I mean, like I said, it's been maybe search the word boards even, or search the word MMM, which maybe not, because MMM shows up on a lot of stuff now. Let me try to find it.
So am I looking in the chat or on the actual
It's an actual
Facebook?
post.
Okay, so I went into
Although
there
I did
and I
put it
typed
in
in
the
boards.
chat. I did put it in the chat one time.
I found at least I put to this magnifying glass and put boards and it popped right up. It was the top
Okay.
one, but she posted it like 6 days ago, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you should be able to get to it that way.
I appreciate y'all doing that because I was trying to keep up with everything, the
found it.
scripts that we're getting in there.
Yeah,
I
well, we were
appreciate y'all
trying
doing
to.
that.
We really wanted to make it a place. We were trying to avoid boards because we don't want people to have to feel like they have to pay for something or get in a pickle with something, but making it a Word doc. Remember Sonia even suggested like maybe I could go into the Word doc on Facebook, and you can't. I have to delete the whole thing. And like, so I played around with that day. I was like, oh, that'd be awesome, but it didn't pan out. So we just went to boards. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm trying to figure out how to consolidate boards because I don't see any way to.
Well, that would be you actually copying like the verbiage. Like, let's say you have a board from, I don't know, capsule scripts. You would actually copy all that, put it on your clipboard. Honestly, the easiest way to do that would be to open up boards on your computer to where you could copy it, go stick it on a Word doc, keep copying, put everything on a Word doc. And then when you get it all on there, then you could just copy that whole Word doc and plop it onto one board.
Gotcha.
Kind of a process, but.
Okay.
Well, I feel like this was productive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
I
all three
got
got
it.
your heads down. You're working on something. All right. Well, I will see you girls tomorrow at Dream Team Zoom at noon.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.